straight on this because I had started reading this book, The Law of One. It's actually a series of 5 books in 1996. And then that paved the way for this contact that I had with what Joe Mason called the dream voice, where I have these stacks of tapes on my desk. They're predicting the future very, very accurately. And it all seemed like I was in touch with the source from the Law of One material, which identifies itself as Ra. And when they were asked about the relationship between Ra and a bird, they said, yes, the bird is the best way to envision what we look like. This is in the Law of One material. The Law of One material also says that anytime they're going to contact someone, they begin in dreams to reduce fear. And so you just, again, validated another aspect of this. So we do all this talking for X number of months, and then you had had these contact experiences you didn't want to tell me about, and you had also said that there was a lot of really personal information in this, stuff that was very deep. And I'm not going to ask you to give that stuff because I know personal by definition means not to be shared in front of 500 of your best friends here and 2 million more on YouTube, right? Once it's stolen. So the point is, we both kind of began in a very similar way. A telepathic contact, a dream contact, and I already had this whole body of Law of One information. I had all the science of it that I've put it together in, like what Teresa was saying in my introduction, source field investigations. That whole book, over 1,000 academic references, is just validating what's in the Law of One, really. And I say that in the acknowledgments at the end. But I didn't even need to mention the Law of One all the way through because their model of science is so much more advanced than ours that if you just take the clues they give you and put it together, you have an entirely new view of science and reality. And it includes this whole secret space program thing, and it includes the idea of ascension. Now, I'm kind of in flames here because 2012 had come and gone. Nothing seems to have happened. But you remember, Corey, that there was a weird event in December 2014, right around the time that you and I started talking. And I'd heard about this from other insiders. And what I'd heard was that they tried to shoot something just outside Earth with a big, big particle beam weapon. There was just some argument over had it come out of Australia or where was it shot. Well, you remember this part, right? So why don't you tell everybody what happened there?
Yeah, I was told that either the targeting system for this weapon was in Australia and the weapon itself was in South Africa, or vice versa. That it was a 2-part weapon. It was a targeting system and the actual weapons platform. That it had targeted a sphere that they had detected outside the atmosphere and that they were going to destroy it because they had been sending ships out to where they knew they were, trying to hail whoever was supposedly in these spheres. They got no response.
And when you say sphere, how big are we talking? Is it like a golf ball?
No. The smallest ones were the size of the moon. The largest ones were the size of Jupiter.
And they were somehow cloaked. It's not like these are all visible to people on Earth.
Right. They were out of phase more than anything. And so they trained their weapon on one of these spheres and fired. And the sphere, using an Aikido principle, just redirected the energy right back down. And there were, I'm told, reptilians present, there were non-terrestrials present, and what we're calling deep state or cabal operatives present at this location that was destroyed.
Right. And again, when you start hearing about reptilians and things like this is another example of something that I'd been hearing about, that there are certain types of extraterrestrials that have a reptilian physiology. The descriptions between insiders who've never spoken to each other, and I never put the stuff online, was remarkably consistent. I mean, incredible, way beyond the likelihood of chance. And enough people are telling you the same things. Either you're the victim of the most well-financed and vast disinformation campaign ever mounted on Earth, or Occam's razor, slice it off. They're actually telling you the truth. And so that was my conclusion, is that these guys are telling me the truth. So they not only redirected the beam back to the Earth. Oh, here's the same fly that my wife was so upset about the other day. Now
Roger almost ate it.
Now we're going to be doing this for the next hour. So, not only did this beam redirect back to the base that shot it, but a far more dramatic and massive effect also took place. And could you remind everybody, in case they hadn't heard all the details of the story, what that was?
Yes. At that point, a barrier went up around the Earth and the solar system that prevented non-terrestrials from a wide range of densities from being able to come or go from our solar system.
So essentially, we ended up under some kind of quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
And this event, again, took place after you and I started talking, but right within, so December 2014, you and I started talking, end of October 2014, right as we're really getting into the thick of it, that's when this thing happens. And there's this barrier that goes up around our solar system and the Earth. Now, it was at the very end of February, and NASA would all of a sudden, oops, SOHO has had a malfunction. And it doesn't work, and oops, the camera shut off. And oops, now we're going to have to reboot it. But there were enough times that they caught the thing on film. But I only saw maybe, 10, 20 examples of these planet-sized objects. But what you're saying is that there were hundreds of them in our solar system.
They couldn't figure out what was going on at first. They were pouring in, the Earth is in a very small area on this side of the sun, and it's traveling around. These spheres were everywhere. And they were positioning themselves from the sun out, with the different size spheres were positioning themselves in a way that, like they were some sort of a resonance device. Waves were coming from the sun and from the outer cosmos, and as they were coming in, these spheres were vibrating and baffling the energy that was coming in because they were protecting us and the planet. We weren't ready for it yet.
So a lot of these insiders that I had, their information was really no more recent than the 80s because they'd been out for a while, and then they come to me after 20 years of thinking about it, or more. And back then, they were thinking that the sun was going to do its flash at the end of 2012. And they were seeing things like these two timelines that fluttered together into one at the end of 2012. They have the guys going through Montauk and the portals, and then they hit this wall and they turn into particles. And then after 2012, they have this God consciousness experience. And so I'm looking at this and I'm saying it sure looks like the solar flash is going to happen at the Mayan calendar end date. So by this point, it's come and gone. 2012's come and gone. And did these guys in the audience want to ask these beings through you, what the heck happened with 2012? Why didn't the sun do its flash?
They asked a number of questions. Some of them were about actually the law of one. Some were asking about a soul trap when we die. Right. And some of them were asking highly technical questions. I did not even know what I was saying back when I was responding. So, I had no base of reference to be able to tell you what I was talking about. I had no idea.
But there was a point made, and this is already in the episode, so I'm not leading him, okay, for those keyboard warriors again who are going to try to think that they're amazing because they found a mistake or something. But one of the things that you did say, and I just want to get to this because we're going to bring Emery up in just a minute here, is that they were asked about what were the spheres really doing. And so just to really cut to the chase, it appeared, right, that the spheres were holding off this solar flash.
Right. They were attenuating the energy. Okay. Man, the way I describe it compared to the way they describe it to me, there's a major gulf. I've described the electromagnetic filaments that, occur. So they break it down.
For portals, yeah.
For portals. So I'm sorry, I got lost in the...
This is what happens when you're 113 years old.
Yes.
Give him a big round of applause, everybody. What was the bottom line of the spheres that they were holding off the solar flash until we were all ready as a planet?
Right. There was some sort of electromagnetic attenuation that was occurring that was preventing our star from completing an electromagnetic arc connection to the other stars as this energy was passing through them, through the cosmic web. It prevented that from occurring. Yes.
All right. So another thing that's very bizarre here is that some kind of cosmic Aikido principle, as you said, they shot this sphere, the sphere shoots back, blows up this base, which might have been Pine Gap in Australia or something like that. There's a few Area 51s in Australia I've heard about, way out in the desert. And then this barrier goes up around the solar system, and ETs can't come in, and ETs can't go out. Now, if the barrier is there, and the solar flash is going to happen, and there's some really nasty reptilian ETs in our solar system, what's going to happen to them if they can't get out of here when the solar flash goes off?
They're going to be caught up in the effects of these energies. And I have to say that the synchronicity, you talking about people trying to travel past 2012 in these portals and them running into this cosmic consciousness. I don't know if you heard last night, I was talking with Roger. The Anshar recently told me they were describing the energies that are coming through our solar system right now and how incredibly powerful they are. They refer to them as the cosmic consciousness. They said it was the logos of the galaxy, right. Basically a Christ consciousness that was coming back to cause a great revealing within us and within the planet to where we all judge ourselves.
Right, and I'm going to go through this tomorrow in the workshop, the prophecies of ascension, the science of ascension, interplanetary climate change, all the signs that our solar system is like a capacitor building up energy. And similar to electromagnetics, if you build up enough charge, you're going to get a static shock, right? If you scuff your feet on a wool carpet and then you touch the doorknob, ah! It's because you've built up all this energy charge in your body and it has to discharge. So it appears, right, like the sun is going to have some kind of discharge like this.
Correct, yeah.
So the effect on these negative ETs, apparently they have built a major headquarters in our solar system, correct?
Correct. And they're afraid, these beings are afraid of being exposed to this cosmic consciousness.
So they would have gotten out of here if they could have.
Right. And the reptilians even, I was brought to a meeting to where they were willing to hand over all of their underlings to betray everyone to be given safe passage outside of the solar system because they did not want to be here when this judgment or whatever happens. And then they're going to be forced to judge themselves as well.
Right. Mm-hmm. So this is very exciting because it lends so much more depth and credibility to the ancient prophecies that we encountered that I'm going to be going through tomorrow. There's so much there that crosses over with Corey now being like the modern Enoch. If you look at the book of Enoch, Enoch was brought up into the heavens and became a messenger where the bad ETs on earth were asking to be saved by the good ETs called the Elohim, and they were rejected. And this is what led to the Atlantean flood.